to you live from San Antonio, Texas. This is a Drinking Buddies podcast. I'm Quentin.
And I'm Alex.
And welcome to our show.
On this podcast, you're going to hear about all things sports. Specifically, we're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about football. We'll talk about baseball and
the philosophy of the game.
We're going to do this.
It's only Welcome to another edition of Drinking Buddies podcast. My name is Quentin.
And I'm Alex.
And welcome to our show.
Episode 7.
WNBA Fever.
Fever.
You might be wondering why we have a third microphone here. And that is because today we have a very special guest. Our producer is going to be on segment 2 and 3 and 4. So we're going to have Miss Jada Cadena here in just a moment. But why don't we go ahead and get right into it?
Let's kick it off.
This episode is going to be about the WNBA as well as women's sports in general. So we want to start off with the biggest names in WNBA right now.
For sure. Segment 1. Da-da-da. Whose world is it?
And we're referring to, of course, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark.
Because that's what's out there in the Twitterverse, or the X-verse, or whatever the hell verse it's called this week. Elon Musk's baby, whatever. But that's the big talk is, are you on the side of Camp Clark, or are you on the side of Camp Reese?
And just to preface this, I think the comparative analysis is good and healthy, but politicizing or, focusing on pitting these two against each other.
That's the problem with it.
That is the problem. So we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is we're going to compare these two phenomenal athletes, and we're going to make an argument each for who we think should get Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, we're going to pick a side.
Right. So why don't you start it off? You're going to defend Caitlin Clark. I'm going to defend Angel Reese.
I'm Team Caitlin. So, guys, well, here's my point in this. When you look at their body of work, they both have done amazing things, okay? But where I think Clark stands out is she's 17.1 points a game, 5.8 rebounds per game, 8.2 assists per game, which is number 1, okay? She's top 5 in scoring. She is putting up stats everywhere. She's had 2 30-point games this season, okay? Her rebounding, pretty stout. I mean, for a guard, she had one game where she had 12 boards. So to me, she's done a lot of good things. She's made the Fever a relevant team. Now, you're going to have some people that are going to argue and say, well, they had a top pick the year before, and they had top pick this year. So, of course, they're going to be better. And they already had pieces around her. Give me some... That's bullshit, okay? You're diminishing what this young lady has done. She's brought this sport into the into the 2020s. Let's be real about it. She has put a level of excitement that hasn't been there for a long time, okay? My opinion is she is Rookie of the Year hands down. Hands down. She's done more. She's had the scoring. She's outperforming Reese in everything except rebounds. Reese has 12 rebounds a game, but she's only 0.1 ahead of the next person that's closest to her. So, to me, she hasn't set herself apart. If you look at the other things that she's doing, she's not in the top 5 in anything else. Clark is killing it. And the fact is, she came over from Iowa. She was a hometown girl, wound up killing it. All-time leading scorer in basketball collegiate history, guys. That's a big deal. Look at the level of players that we've had throughout the years. And she just did that. I'm impressed with her. She's a great young lady. She's been getting roughed up. She keeps her chin up. She keeps going. I love her moxie. I mean, come on. Who else could have gone into the All-Star game, the men's All-Star game, and competed with Curry like she did? Amazing job. such composure, such a great pure shot. She doesn't need a shot doctor. She should be the shot doctor for some people. So anyway, with all that being said, that's why I feel like Clark is Rookie of the Year.
Those are some really good points, and I don't disagree with the fact that Caitlin Clark is very well deserving. She is, like you said, this basketball icon. Apart from all of her accomplishments in college, right? And like you said, the fact that she went toe-to-toe with Steph Curry in the three-point shooting contest, I think absolutely she is doing everything right, and she's bringing this level of enthusiasm to the WNBA. And however, my point is going to be that when you dig deeper into the stats, into the sort of nitty-gritty, Angel Reese actually has a really legitimate claim to being Rookie of the Year, and here's why. So yes, Caitlin Clark is averaging 17, 6, and 8. Reese is averaging 13.5, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and she's shooting 40% from the field, which is the same as Clark. Clark is shooting 40% from the field. And she's shooting 32% from three-point land. And that is, as good of a three-point shooter as she is, that is kind of a pedestrian stat. That is kind of a pedestrian number. 32% from three is okay. And she's taking 8 threes a game. So she's getting a lot of volume, and that's 32% is not necessarily going to win ball games, right? She is a rookie, so she's going to develop and get better, absolutely. But Angel Reese is not taking hardly any three, less than 1 3 a game. She's shooting 20% from three. She's not a three-point shooter. What she does is she contributes down low. She out-rebounds everyone. When you look at her play, she's tenacious. She reminds me of like a Charles Barkley type of player, right? She goes for rebounds. She hustles every single minute she's on the floor. She makes teammates around her better. She facilitates. When you dig deeper into the stats per game, right? She's averaging 5 offensive rebounds a game.
That's sick.
That is a lot of offensive rebounds a game.
I agree. That's a sick stat. That's a great stat if you're an NBA player.
But also,
so, wow.
Caitlin Clark is averaging 17 points, but she's playing 35 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Reese is only playing 31 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Which, that's a 4-minute difference, but that's a significant amount of time to pad stats, right? Or to increase the types of numbers that you have. Now, the Fever are, at this point in time, 11 and 15. The Chicago Sky are 10 and 14. What's interesting is they have the same player efficiency rating. Caitlin Clark has a 17 PER.
Yeah.
Reese has an 18 PER. So she's actually a little bit more efficient than Clark is.
Yeah.
And when
Clark's considered the second best overall if you look at all the stat crunches.
Right.
I mean, that for a rookie,
It's amazing. It's amazing. But Reese is right there, and her numbers get a little bit overlooked. But when you look at it, when you look at a number that matters, win shares. Clark has 1.2 win shares. Reese has 2.7.
Yeah.
That tells you something. Reese is doing more for her team than it seems like Clark is doing for hers. Now, individually, perhaps Clark has more of a say in terms of being better. But Reese is right there with her. So I think if Angel Reese got Rookie of the Year, I wouldn't have any problem with that.
Well, let me ask you this question then, smartass.
Yeah.
If you got 5 seconds left and you need a winning basket, who are you going to?
Well, I'm obviously going to Clark.
Then there's your Rookie of the Year.
Well, I wouldn't say it's that open and shut, right?
I think you just answered it, though, because I said, who would you rather have? Who do you want to have the ball in their hands?
Well, because as a shooter, like Reese, they do different things. It's not really good.
But she can also drop dimes. She's number one in assists.
But see, saying that is like, who would you rather take the last second shot, Kobe Bryant or Hakeem Olajuwon, right? They do different things. Hakeem was great, to get a bucket down low.
Well, we got to say Kobe.
Because he's a shooter.
Yeah.
So that question is not really fair.
But if it's between Kobe and Tim Duncan, I'll take Tim Duncan.
No, dude.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Like what he did against Phoenix, that 3-ball that cemented that game one in the playoffs. No,
I hate to admit it, but
sorry, whatever. So
I don't think that's a fair argument, but that's fine.
okay, potato. Got it.
What about this? What about co-rookie of the year?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Mr. Dr. Allen. It's happened in the NBA before.
Oh yeah,
Jason Kidd, Grant Hill,
really?
co-rookie of the year
In '93?
Yeah, so it's happened. It's happened before. That's definitely a possibility. I mean, I could see both. I could see them giving it to both because, you bring up some great points about Reese, and I think the points that I bring on Clark, they stand on their own merit also.
Right.
It might just be too much to delve into, and they just say, you know what, let's give it to both of them because they both have been amazing.
I think so.
That's quite possible.
And I think it would just be so awesome for the WNBA to have them side by side. I like when they bring them together, like in the WNBA All-Star game. I like when they had them on the same team instead of pitting them against each other. I know there's chippiness, but I in my opinion, Angel Reese like going at Caitlin Clark is not personal because Angel Reese goes after everyone.
Yeah.
She is like kind of an emerging WNBA villain, which I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean that in like the
like
sense
kind
that
of Karl Malone-ish.
Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green.
Yeah.
They're the spark plug. They have that dog in them that brings out this tenacity.
Yeah.
And it comes out as cockiness or arrogance, but you kind of need that for the WNBA.
It's born from a good place.
It is, at a competition and really wanting to win at all costs.
Now my thing is, the only thing I don't dig is what I've been seeing. A lot of the players are kind of being rough on Clark, and I think that part of it is a little bit of jealousy, because she is getting a lot of attention. But if you're real about it, the arenas are selling out everywhere she goes.
Really, and it really is mostly due to Caitlin Clark, because she is that level of.
She's the draw. She's a huge draw. Now there are some amazing players. You got Wilson, you got Ionescu. There are some amazing athletes.
That's true
in the WNBA. But if we're being 100 about it, the asses in the seats are getting filled because Clark is the show. She is.
Attendance records all around
they're broken. They're going to make a profit for the first time.
I know.
And
WNBA. It's funny. The WNBA is actually kind of going through this revolution that the NBA went through. In the
80s.
In the 80s, when Magic and Bird came onto the scene, right? You had Magic, Bird. That was really like the NBA was on the brink of bankruptcy before the Showtime Lakers came onto the scene, and the Bird Celtics came onto the scene. That really rejuvenated.
And then Jordan took it to another level.
Exactly. And
the greatest of all time. That's damn right. I don't want to hear this LBJ bullshit. Jordan, greatest ever.
He really
ever,
is.
ever.
That ever will be. Except maybe Wemby. But that's me being a homer. That's me being a homer. But
greatest power forward was Duncan. We can have the greatest center in Wemby.
That's right.
I love it.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, but I think what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese can do is something similar to Bird and Magic, which is to revolutionize and really ramp up this interest for the WNBA, which I think is awesome. I think the WNBA getting so much attention this year. For the first time, they've put together a really good product, and they've had a pretty good product in the last decade, right? I mean, Asia Wilson is an amazing athlete. I love Asia Wilson. Kelsey Plum, future wifey. So,
you might want to let her know about that.
I know, exactly, right? No, but I just, like, Becky Hammond, going all the way to Becky Hammond. I love
How about Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, tons of great athletes in the sport. Yeah. And then before your time and before the time of the WNBA, you had Cheryl Miller, and you had you had Nancy Lieberman.
Yeah,
they were badasses. So women's sports.
People might say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead."
Women's sports with basketball. There's been greats for a long time, but I'm really glad that they're starting to get the recognition.
Absolutely, and they do deserve it because it has been a struggling league in terms of attendance, in terms of viewership, and making money. It hasn't made money. I think that's going to change.
I
think it changes with Reese and Clark, but primarily Clark.
I agree. Clark, Rookie of the Year. You heard it here. Good segment, buddy.
Good segment.
All right.
So that takes us to segment 2, All-Stars and Olympians. So let's welcome to the program our producer, our champion, Miss Jada Cadena. Welcome to the show. Our very first guest. Come on down.
Jada, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you. We definitely, love everything you've done to make the podcast a reality, to make drinking buddies. So thank you very much.
We quite literally could not do this without you.
It's true.
That is very true.
All right, so why don't we kick off segment 2?
Okay.
What I got shit hanging on.
Your chain is stuck in your beard.
Oh my god. Okay.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the amount of shit I edit out of this show, you're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome, Obama.
That's probably going to be one of them.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at?
All right, so let's go. Segment 2.
Let's start talking about the WNBA All-Star Game.
Ugh. Amazing.
It was truly amazing.
Amazing.
It really was.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of action. There was some good defense.
Arike Ogunbowale.
I'm just going to call her AO, okay? I'm just sorry, guys. I have
Arike.
to.
Look, she was nickname.
My last name. Yeah, AO.
AO. You gotta start that.
AO.
Start that.
Yeah. Arike, if you're listening, AO.
Exactly. You heard it here first. It came from us.
Listen, a phenomenal performance.
Absolutely.
Literally a beast.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I mean, what?
All of her points came in the
34? Was
second
it 34?
Yeah, in the second
In the
half.
second half?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And then just shooting from outrageous, taking outrageous shots.
And
from
making
all
them
over the floor.
consistently.
I've never seen anything like that
It
before.
was pure.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know
was
if anybody
beautiful.
else had ever seen anything like that before.
No.
The energy in that stadium when she was shooting the ball was insane.
It was quite Steph Curry-ish.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was. It really
Or should we
was.
say it was Caitlin Clark-ish?
Yeah, well, and I can dig that because, like I said, that's my rookie in here kind of did.
Well, actually, we should just start saying it's AO-ish because that really
That
was
was-
unique.
That I can't. And I mean, the talent on that All-Star game was phenomenal. And why some of those athletes were not chosen for the Olympic team.
Right.
Again, hierarchy, veteran years put in, I understand it. But my God, 34 points in the second half.
Yeah, how
I'm
is
not
she
getting
not on
over
the
it.
Olympic team?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not getting over it.
Speaking
Just
of the
like
Olympics.
Clark, man, that was a diss too. I'm
That kind of
sorry.
was. But
I mean,
she is young. She's going to be there in the next few.
She'll be at the next one and for several more to come.
Yeah.
Several more in the fours. But that's the face of the WNBA. It absolutely is. She is. I mean, she's friggin' phenomenal.
Yeah.
So but I thought she should have made it. Shaq made it his first time. So
Yeah.
Fair.
why not? Why not?
But let's talk about the All-Star game against the Olympians. They upset the Olympic squad.
Yeah,
They sure did.
they did.
And that was wild to me because that's the Olympic squad, right? That's the team that we're putting out against the world. That goes to show either that the Olympic squad really kind of took their foot off the gas, or they weren't taking it too seriously. But I mean, you kind of got to show up,
Or there's just
Right.
a lot of talent
or
all around.
that is the other option, right? There's just that much talent in the WNBA that
Yeah.
women's basketball has evolved to this point. So let's talk about the Olympics. Let's talk about women's sports in general, right? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I still got things I want to say about this game.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
Okay,
Is that
let's,
okay?
let's go back. Yeah.
But yeah, I want to go back because aside from AO Arike, right?
Yeah.
There was some phenomenal performances otherwise as well. Again, Angel Reese down low.
Oh man, she was
She's
grabbing
a beast.
boards.
A beast.
Yeah.
Obviously
Wilson.
Wilson,
Asia
right?
Wilson,
Asia
oh my
Wilson,
God.
killing it. Oh man, and also I want to just give a shout out. I know there was a devastating injury earlier in the season that took my girl, Cameron Brink
Oh, she's
out
amazing.
of commission. But
Yeah.
but man, I feel like she would have been there
Oh, for
had
sure.
that not happened. Phenomenal. I just wanted to bring that up because I think she's fantastic.
Oh, if she hadn't gotten injured, we'd be talking about a 3-way tie
Yeah.
for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, incredible. But again, just wanted to bring that back. But the athletes that showed out for sure.
Yeah.
Man, obviously, Caitlin Clark was really struggling from the 3-point line
Yeah.
in that game.
But she was diming it.
But her assists were incredible, and obviously the big moment everybody had been waiting for all
Yeah.
season when Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were putting that game together, right? And that beautiful pass that Caitlin passed over to Angel Reese for that bucket.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the stars aligned in that one moment
Yeah.
because everybody was waiting on it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that had they put them two in that game for longer, we would have just had more highlight clips from that.
Yeah.
But that moment I think was a true solidarity moment for women, in general in the sport of basketball, but also like just say like, hey, we can be competitive and athletic, and we can also support each other. And I'm throwing you the basketball because you're in the best place to score right now. So
Yeah.
I think that was really cool.
I saw a great picture of Reese and Clark dapping each other up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were. I think that's a fantastic point that you bring up about like the solidarity. We do need to have people come together and celebrate rather than try to divide
Or tear down.
or tear down.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, my thing is, I'm definitely a proponent of representation is important in any movement, which you've alluded to, off camera as well. But solidarity is important also.
Yeah.
You have to be cohesive, even if you have differences. The front you have to put on when you're in front of the cameras, when you post game. You can't be petty. You can't say little things like, well, this was her Super Bowl. That stuff's got to go.
Yeah.
It's not important. The fact that your product is killing it right now and that you have so much spotlight on there, don't diminish it. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I really like that point. What do you think?
Well, I think there's two sides of that coin, right? I think that if there wasn't space for trash talk and, coming in like that, then I think you made this point earlier, less people would be watching. And that's just the truth. That everybody wants a good story, everybody
Yeah.
wants a drama, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's, whether or not there are actually hard feelings going
Yeah.
on there,
Yeah.
they're put on a show.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they,
for sure.
They may or may not be like having, a beer afterwards, laughing at everybody, talking trash about them,
Yeah.
or maybe they do feel some type of way. Who knows? We don't know.
We
But
don't.
But it does make for great
it
television.
makes for great television.
It
It's selling
does.
tickets,
Yes.
and really it's just saying like, hey, here's this little thing y'all want to see. Now you're gonna watch me play basketball, and I'm gonna blow your fucking mind. Like
Yeah.
that's what's happening. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's a great point.
That is.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Olympics now?
Yeah, we can have a. Hold on. How do you guys wear it?
Well,
Sorry,
ours
go
are more
ahead.
comfortable than yours,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Sorry.
It's okay. Wow.
Now, guys, if we're going to talk about the Olympics, one person just springs to mind. Who would that be?
Oh my God, Simone Biles.
Oh
Right?
my God, Simone, you are amazing. You are a diva. You are a badass. We are all. It's your world, really. Forget them two gals. It's your world. We're all just trying to live in it. You're a badass.
Simone Biles, man. I gotta. You start. You make your point.
No. I really didn't have one. I was just gonna say she's 4'8", but she presents herself like she's 6 foot. You know what I mean? Like she's this huge, larger than life presence, and she's the most decorated gymnast of all time, right?
Yeah.
And
And that's saying something when you've had women like Mary Lou Retton, who
Yeah.
was like the cornerstone.
like when you thought
She's
Olympic
killing it,
gymnastics,
man.
that's who you thought of.
Oh yeah,
So-
she's killing it though. Wow.
But Simone Biles, man, she's just on another level.
And her landings are perfect. I mean,
Crisp.
her performances are unique.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, where would we be without her? Seriously.
I mean, she's got what, 8 gold medals or 8 medals total,
Yeah.
5 of them gold,
Yeah, 3 coming this year.
3 in Paris. I mean, Jesus.
Like there's no
Yeah.
The
comparison.
the goat. I saw actually on TikTok. I'm on Tik. I'm a big TikTok kind of gal. I'm one of those.
Yeah, you
of
send me
millennials.
TikToks all
Yeah.
hours of the day.
But I see on TikTok that Simone Biles on the podium when she was getting her medal was wearing a necklace that had an actual like animal goat on it.
I saw
and
that.
I was like, that bitch knows. She knows she's a queen, and I ain't even mad. I'm not even mad.
Oh no, not at all.
No,
She could.
how
She could
could you be
flaunt
mad?
that.
She
Oh my
knows
gosh.
she's good. She know when you know you're good. That's when you can go out there and strut your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She does it
Absolutely.
every time.
Oh my God.
Every time.
Well, she's great, but also we've got a ton of other incredible female athletes, female, women identifying, however, whatever floats your boat,
Representing the U.S.
representing the U.S. in this. And I'm just gonna go off and tell you a couple that you might not have been aware of. Obviously, this is not all of them, but women's shooting. I'd never watched that. Have you
No.
ever watched shooting in general? No. We've got some silver going on there for
Yeah.
U.S. Yeah. Rugby. Okay, I have been following the rugby team on TikTok. My goodness.
Bronze medal.
Bronze.
Yeah.
The joy.
100 years we had not medaled in that sport.
Yeah.
That's badass.
The
Great
joy
point.
of those players
Yeah.
was just enough for me to like really dive in and do like a TikTok dive into the rugby team because they were so cool, and just watching that and how it panned out, the win. Oh man,
It was last second. It
Yes.
was like, I don't know how many yards, but like they were way on their side of the field.
Yes.
She broke a couple tackles and was gone.
Man,
Really?
out of
Oh,
there.
my God.
It was awesome.
And
hadn't seen
then they
any
got
of
the
that.
follow kick to win. They
Yeah.
won 14-12.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And the Australian team, the just crying and the emotion, the devastation of losing that game.
they beat
the way
Australia?
did, it was so palpable. I mean, you could feel it in the air. And I was glad that the U.S. won, obviously, but my heart went out to them because
Yeah.
they lost it in the last seconds.
That-
I was devastated.
That
Yeah.
raises like so many emotions about like fighting for country, right? And we're talking about solidarity. It's like in this country we're so divided right now that the Olympics are really a great time to bring awareness to the fact that we're all American here, and we have these amazing athletes representing us.
Yeah.
And
And it should be. It
should
should
be
be
the case.
something that unites. But there's still people on X that are like trying to make this political, and that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy these people for what they bring
Celebrate
to the table. Yeah, because they're representing our country.
Right.
And not all of them have a silver spoon in their mouth. You see that too, that, well, God, they get all this money. They get sponsorships and they work their asses off
Yeah.
to do what they do. So
Right.
I don't want to hear that bullshit.
I mean, women's water polo was sponsored by Flava Flav. Have you seen
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
I think it's by
It's
Flava
true.
Flav. Because a lot of them allegedly, again, who knows, right? We don't know these people personally, but not like Wemby.
I know my Wemby. I know Wemby.
I know.
I don't know him, but I know him.
But yeah, I mean, like apparently some of them were having 2 to 3 jobs just to pay for their way to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Which, this is my opinion. If you are putting your blood, sweat, and tears, your love and investment into something that hard to get you somewhere to represent your country, there is no reason your ass needs to be doing 3 jobs. Like somebody, and the fact that it has to be Flava Flav
yeah.
to come in and
I
save
know.
the day for the women's water polo team.
Yeah.
Oh my, that pisses me off.
Yeah,
But
yeah, boy.
but good on you, Flava Flav, for showing
Yeah,
up and
that's
showing
right.
out for the women's water polo.
Definitely.
But Snoop Dogg has been really invested as well. There's been a lot
yeah.
of celebrity backing this Olympics, and I think it's because everybody is in a space where they are like, yeah, now is the time to come together. Like we're coming into this really important movement in the U.S. and everybody's been so divided for, so many years, 4
Yeah.
to 8 years. Like, so the Olympics right now and the WNBA and all of these incredible athletes coming up gold. Again, swimming had silver medals for their women's
Katie
division.
Ledecky.
Yes,
She's
exactly.
Badass too, man.
Badass.
It's like a female. She's a fish. She's a fish. I swear to God.
An actual
Fish
fish.
woman. Fish woman.
Yeah.
She is a badass.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean BMX, right?
Oh yeah.
BMX,
Yeah.
canoeing.
Yeah.
Canoeing had bronze, fencing had gold. Like,
Yeah.
we're just showing up and showing out. I'm like, now is the moment. I think it's really cool to see all of these really, influential people coming around these
Yeah.
athletes and lifting them up.
Absolutely, and a good chunk, if not a majority, of women
Right.
representing their country, and I think it speaks to the evolution of women's sports, and so
Well, the evolution of the male gaze on women's sports, because women have always been badass
Yes.
at sports.
That's a
but
good point.
men,
It's true.
or the men who create the systems, have never necessarily cared or paid attention.
But
That's true.
guess what? Their eyes are fully focused on women's sports now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
because
they are.
These are athletes at the
Yeah.
end of the day, hella good athletes,
Definitely.
best of the best.
Yep.
So, Asia Wilson.
Yeah.
Asia Wilson is, oh man, she's a beast. And Kate Martin, I gotta say, I love Kate Martin. I know you guys are talking about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Again, phenomenal basketball players. Kate Martin is a cool motherfucker.
Yeah.
And just to see her, progression with the Aces and that team coming together. By the way, they seem like the coolest group of people. I want to be like the water girl on that team.
Equipment manager.
Yeah, the equipment. Can I just I'll be one of those people that wipes the floors.
Yeah.
But just
You'll
for
just
the
carry around a
Aces.
bucket of spit. And be like,
They have to be the coolest. Becky Hammond's leading them. Come on.
Becky is
Yeah.
my
Former
queen.
Spurs coach. Gotta be.
Becky
Gotta
is
be
my
Becky.
queen. I love Becky Hammond. I have
Yeah.
always loved Becky Hammond.
Yeah.
When she was a Silver Star, I was through the roof.
Yep.
And then when she got to coach for the Spurs,
Oh, yeah.
I actually want her to take over for Pop.
I
when he
wouldn't
retires.
mind that either. I wouldn't mind that either.
But
I
she is a
I wouldn't
fixture
mind
with the
that. I wouldn't
Aces.
mind her being first chair with the heir apparent coming in next and doing that. I think she's definitely equipped. She's shown what she can do. Back-to-back championships for the Aces, and they look like they are in trouble. This is a really great segue with where you guys are talking about. How's the season going to play out for the WNBA for the rest of the year? Who do we think is going to be holding the trophy at the end? Who do we think is the dark horse? I'm going to start with you.
Ooh. Okay. Well, obviously you've got the big name players, right? We know that
Yeah.
the Fever is not doing great despite Caitlin Clark, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the Aces, I think, are a solid team. The thing about the Aces that I really love is that they are consistent, right? They're fairly consistent.
Yeah.
So they come in and they come out. I mean, I'd like to see them at the top, whether or not
It's a
that's
three-peat.
Right.
Well, yeah.
But,
I'm all about three-peats too.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
I know.
Chiefs.
Obviously, Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
You're obsessed with.
I'm
and
obsessed with Kelsey
Asia
Plum.
Wilson. Also, you're obsessed with. Or you're just obsessed with all of them in general.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
ain't nothing but a
Let me tell you something. This is a fact about me.
This is
One of the things that I find the most attractive is a woman that can play basketball. I don't know why, but this is because I love basketball so much.
This is true about him.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelsey Plum, if you're out there,
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy.
But here's the thing: the New York Liberty looks
Yeah.
scary too, and they've
Yeah.
already beaten the Aces, right?
Yeah.
So, and the Aces suffered a little bit of a losing streak, so they but they've bounced back nicely. I think it's going to be a hell of a good show. I think it's going to be great drama, great entertainment when the playoffs get rolling.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
think it's up for grabs. I mean, I'm with you. I'd love to see the Aces three-peat. I mean, I'm selfish because I'm a Becky Hammond fan. But yeah, it's going to be great drama. I mean, New York has enough of a stacked team to win it all. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be those two trying to figure out
Yeah.
who's going to win it again or who's going to win it in general. So.
I agree.
I actually had both of those teams as contenders.
Yeah.
The Liberty, Ionescu is a beast,
She
right?
is amazing.
But
Yeah, she really is.
yeah, she's awesome. But I'm always going to root for the Aces because that was our team, the
Yeah,
Silver Stars,
Silver
right?
Stars,
So we
yes.
have that connection, and that's. I know they're in Las Vegas now, but I still feel connected to them in that way. and again, Kelsey Plum, the love of my life, Asia Wilson, Kate Martin, like these athletes are just so like cohesive. They work really well together, but I do want to see them three-peat as well. So I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, right?
Well, all of these things that we've talked about with the Olympics and with the WNBA and with the All-Star Game and with Caitlin Clark emerging and shining such a wonderful spotlight on the WNBA. I mean, all of these things are making they're progressing a great step forward in women's sports, and I think they're all to be commended. I think everybody that has contributed to this, it's been an amazing summer.
Yeah.
It has. So, no, kudos to all of you ladies. Keep it up. Keep busting your ass and keep showing that your sport is relevant and it's something that we're going to be watching for years to come. So,
yeah.
I'm definitely digging that.
Now we're doing. What are we doing?
Great talk, guys. Wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
So it's going to lead us to our next segment.
All right.
Q&A with Q&A and Jay.
And Jay.
That's right.
Odelay.
God help us.
Definitely.
All right. So to start things off, we're actually just going to ask you a question since you're the guest of honor. My question to you is, how has the representation of women in sports evolved in your lifetime?
Well, so it's a good question. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I don't think, no offense, I don't think it's an important one. Here's why. Well, let me say that backwards. Let me start it over.
Yeah.
It's an important question. I'll give you that.
Okay.
But I
it's
don't
not a
think
good
it's a
one.
good one. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's
Okay.
an important question, but I don't think it's a good one because, again, as a person, a female identifying person,
Yeah.
women's sports has just been sports to me. So growing up, I was really into Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops, and I played softball. So I watched a lot of the college ball and stuff like that,
NCAAs,
right? NCAA and even the town that I grew up in near Houston had their own semi-professional women's softball team that I used to go watch play, right? So growing up, I was just watching sports,
Yeah.
and there were men that played sports and there were women that played sports. The representation that didn't necessarily matter to me until I became an adult, and then I noticed that, oh wow, like all of these women that are really fantastic at these sports are not getting.
They're proper.
They're not right.
They're not getting
exactly.
their due proper.
I didn't realize when I was a kid that, I wasn't seeing them on TV because it was women's sports and that wasn't as popular. Because I was there at the games, right? I was going to see the games, the Houston Comets play.
Yeah.
So so it's an important question. It is.
No, but you know what? That's a very fair point, and that changes my perspective on how I didn't realize the inherent misogyny within that question, unintentional misogyny. Because from my perspective, being male, I always looked at it as a divide because
Right.
as a guy, it's there's men's sports and then there's women's sports.
Sure.
Right? But you brought up a point that I think is fantastic. It's just sports.
Right.
It should be treated as such.
Right, and not to say that, there aren't reasons why it's not. Again, like we know that men's sports makes a ton of money that in a way that women's sports doesn't necessarily. But that doesn't mean right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's not capable. They're not capable or possible to make that kind of money. It's just that systematically they weren't ever given the opportunity to make the money until.
Now.
Recently,
Yeah.
or
Until the judgment where athletes can get paid now.
right,
Yeah.
until it becomes a show and people start caring,
Right.
But there have been women putting on
work.
like
Yeah.
for like forever.
Decades.
I mean, yeah.
And I'm going to share a little something with the two of you. First of all, when we're talking about women's softball, I want to give a shout out to my niece, Ivy Rosenberry, who's a pitcher for Oklahoma State and was with Va-Tech. So shout out to you, young lady. You kick some ass and you're a hell of a pitcher. But no, I'm going to share a little bit of something with you. And I think I've told you about this. When I was at Texas Tech back in 1988, that's a long time ago. I know, man. It's almost coming up on 40 years. So my roommate, his name was Joe, right? And his name was Joe McLaughlin. And his girlfriend's name was Teresa. And Teresa had a roommate, and she was a point guard. And she walked on at Tech, didn't make it. So we were all farting around at the gym because we had an off day in football. And we're out there, and I'm shooting baskets on one end with Joe, and Teresa's roommate shooting baskets on the other. And I didn't pay much attention. You know, Joe and I were just horsing around. And Teresa's roommate comes over and says, "You want to play one-on-one?" Well, okay. I'm a lot more worldly and enlightened and, I guess, accepting than I was back then, because I kind of snickered and I was like, yeah, I'll play you. She beat the shit out of me, man. I'm not kidding. Now, look, she couldn't post up on me, right? Because I was blocking shit. When she took jump shots, she was making them all. And I was facing her and I was jumping up. Oh my God, she beat the shit out of me. We played to 11. She beat me 11-5. She horsewhipped me. And I was pretty decent at basketball back then. I had a really good post-up move, and you know, I had good height and everything. Man, she wiped the court up with me. Yeah. I mean, there were a couple times she did drive, and she went to her left hand, and I couldn't defend her left hand.
Yeah.
So anybody that thinks women's sports is like, here's men's sports and here's women's sports, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I challenge any of you guys who watch our show, the worst WNBA player will kick your ass. Guaranteed.
Every day.
Fucking
I'll kick your ass.
Well, yeah, I weigh like 400 pounds. That ain't nobody wants to watch a fat guy sitting over there sweating his shirt through and panting and out of gas. Nobody's going to give me mouth to mouth, cuz. So.
If you go down, you're going down.
So now let's get to the next question, because see, when we were talking about doing this episode, we said we were going to dedicate a lot of time to it, and it's been very easy to talk about all this stuff because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hit you guys up, and you can both answer this question. What do you value more in an athlete, and we can pinpoint it to WNBA? Do you value the splash athlete, or do you value the clutch athlete? Like, in other words, they can hit it and just knock it down and no big deal? Or do you value like maybe consistency and somebody that's a constant in what they do? Go ahead.
I'm going to say I value a clutch player more. I think that a player that works with their team is always going to be the player that I'm rooting for at the end of the day. Because I think I think that they're so phenomenal, and any one of those athletes, WNBA or NBA, they can have their moment, whatever that moment is, and they can do some flashy stuff, and maybe they do it at the beginning of their career, maybe they do it at the end of their career, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you have a player that is a team player and that shows up every time to play with their team and do the thing that they love and win games, that's the player I'm going with.
Cool. How about you, big guy?
I ain't
no big guy, right?
I'm gonna go clutch, and not just to steal your answer, but like,
Wow. A man stealing something. I'm joking.
No, I think that I'm gonna use a comparison of LeBron versus Kobe, because I think that matches a lot of what you're saying. LeBron might be a better consistent shooter. Well, actually, I don't want to say that, but LeBron has all these gifts and skills.
He's a physical specimen, is what he is.
He is one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Like David was a chiseled god.
Yeah.
David Robinson.
Yeah.
And LeBron is just like him,
Yoked. Right.
5 inches taller, but just
Yeah.
I mean, just scary.
So LeBron is a phenomenal ball player, phenomenal athlete, but I wouldn't classify him as clutch.
No,
I would classify Kobe as clutch,
Jordan.
Jordan as clutch.
Yeah.
The guy that
Monty Ginobili.
the guy that you didn't want to have the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not as scared to put the ball in LeBron's hands as I am in Kobe's
completely
hands.
agree. Completely.
And when it comes to like the splash versus the clutch, that clutch gene you can't teach.
No.
It's just embedded in the athlete. Just that mentality to overcome the moment and seize an opportunity for greatness.
Yeah.
And
And
that,
not a lot of guys have it.
no, that clutch gene, it's rare.
Yep.
Steph Curry has it, Timmy had it, Jordan had it, Kobe had it. People are going to be mad. I don't think LeBron has it.
I don't either. You know, remember Steven Jackson?
Steven made
Steven
love
Jackson.
to pressure.
I make love to pressure. That's what
Jackson
he
had
used to
that
say.
clutch gene. Manu had that clutch gene.
Manu was the shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and not just offensively.
No, defensively.
Dude, when he packed James Harden,
Right.
in his prime James Harden,
Right.
with the Houston Rockets, that is a phenomenal poster, and that is a moment that will go down in history.
Yeah, she's
In my-
upset because she's
I
a
don't wanna
Rockets
talk
fan.
about- I don't want to talk I don't want to talk about
That's
James
just a
Harden, please.
bonus.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but just getting back to the point, yeah, I think clutch
Yeah.
is the more important.
I agree. I mean, when I asked that question, it was kind of loaded because that's I like clutch too.
Yeah.
But I love where you came up with the consistency and just the constant in the universe of that team. That's important too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're creating an environment and a team that's full of people who can step up and lead when they need to, but also to know that they have a leader in whoever that player is, right? So
Right.
I think that's really important.
It will a foundation, a great base that creates synergy amongst the other parts.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, if you just have 5 flashy motherfuckers and you
Yeah.
don't have anybody that's your foundation, your board, your basement, if you
Your
will,
heart.
yeah, then
You can't
that's
win.
why so often when these teams go out and they buy, oh, I want this guy, this guy, this guy. The team that's the most guilty of it is the Lakers. Mm-hmm. Like, remember that team in 04?
Yeah,
Gary Payton, Karl
Malone.
Malone, Kobe, Shaq.
yeah.
That's what happened to him.
because a bunch of
That's
egos
exact-
got in the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
so-
Shaq's.
Yeah.
and Shaq did have that clutch gene, but he was also selfish.
Yeah.
but
I don't know if you've seen this, but he made a comment on that. I watched it was an interview of some sort.
and he admitted it.
Yeah,
to
and
Penny
he-
Hardaway.
Yeah, and he did. He talked about having, being young and having
Too much of an ego.
Too much of an ego. But see, this is coming from just a different perspective. This, I think, speaks a little bit to the divide between men's sports and women's sports too, because as a young female, you are not really given the space to have an ego like that in any place.
That's fair.
So coming out and having that kind of ego in sports, I think, is a lot of probably why Angel Reese is getting shit
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Because she has that ego.
Right, she does. And what it's doing is it's making her, a gritty player and,
Yeah.
and a phenomenal.
I said villain, but it's
Right, but
it's kind of that bad guy role.
Right.
Like the bad guy wrestler.
Bad girl.
right, and
Right.
and people are stressed out about it because they're they don't agree with it or whatever. But for women, I think it's more it's more looked down upon.
You're expected to be
Right,
You know.
right. You're expected to be a certain
Fall
way. And
in
again,
line.
we're in 2024, so it's not as crazy as it used to be, but
But it's
again,
still there.
But it's
Yeah.
still there, and there are
Yeah.
people, who function in that space still, and people who are, brought down for having that kind of grit, So
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about why the progression of celebrity in women's sports is just now getting to a place where we're like, yeah, this kid can fucking ball.
And
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I think it's
We're
fantastic.
talking about Caitlin Clark.
He's talking about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
We're talking about
Women.
a bunch of badass women. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
CC 2024. Yeah, I thought that was really great. That's some great talk. Great talking points.
Good stuff.
So now it's time for Sippin' Trivia.
Sipping trivia.
Sippin' trivia.
It's time for
We already did
Sippin'
it.
Trivia.
So to start off sipping trivia, I just want to say I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. I might have one cocktail every 8 months. So I'm gonna probably be fucked up.
But guess what? This is her one cocktail.
That's true. Yes. What is this? Rum chata or chata rum.
It's delish, guys.
It is
If you
very
haven't tried it, you need to try it. It's a life changer.
Yes.
All right,
queen.
so here's yours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's mine. Here's yours.
All right. Should we?
We're gonna do one to
Cheers.
start. All right.
Oh, good lord, that's
Oh
delicious.
boy.
I told you it's
Okay.
good. It's delish, man.
gonna
You
be
add
fine.
some Kahlua and holy crap.
It's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
It's
Tasty
better.
sweet.
It's better. All right, so how about I kick off sipping trivia?
Go ahead.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you, young lady.
Oh God.
All right, here we go.
All right. I'm ready.
How many times did Caitlin Clark win the Naismith Award in college?
Fuck.
It's a good question.
I'm gonna say 3.
Wow. 2 times. 2 times. Take that sip.
Damn it.
Take that sip.
Then go ahead and ask me now.
Okay, I'll ask you now. Quentin,
Yeah.
of course, everybody knows I'm a Texas Tech alum. Guns up. You also went to Texas Tech as well.
For a year.
We have 3 national championships now. 2 of them are in track and field. One's indoor, one's outdoor. But before that, we only had 1, and it was the women's basketball team that brought it home for Tech, baby. They did. Cheryl Swoops was part of that team. What year did they win the national championship?
Was it 96?
Wow! Take a drink.
What was it?
1993. She was playing in the WNBA in '96.
That's right.
Yep. For the Houston Comets. All
Houston
right.
Comet.
All right.
All right.
Now, I want to ask you.
Okay.
Asia Wilson. What?
I'm so bad at trivia. I'm notoriously bad at trivia.
Really?
I mean, yes, in general, I'm so bad at it. I need to work harder. I need to do more Jeopardy.
All right. Asia Wilson
Yep.
has a career average of 20.7 points per game.
Okay.
True or false? That's the highest average all time.
False.
Who was it?
Lisa Leslie.
No, but Cynthia Cooper.
Cynthia
Cynthia
Cooper. Oh,
Cooper.
that was my second choice.
Yeah.
Coop was the
Damn.
shit.
She
but
was.
I didn't mess up, and so I don't have to drink. But guess what? I'm going to drink with y'all anyway.
All right, now yours.
God.
Big
Go
guy.
for it. Go.
Where does Becky Hammon rank all time on the all-time scoring list for the WNBA?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's number 6.
No. Same as Timmy.
Number 5.
Timmy's not fifth all
Well,
time in
I
points.
don't know what.
16.
Well, okay.
16.
Wow,
6.
5.
I meant to put a 1
Yeah,
in front of
yeah,
that.
sure.
Oh,
That's for
did
sure.
you? Did you?
All right.
Shit.
Go ahead and ask your question, Kadena.
Okay, my question is this. The WNBA started 1996, 1997. They started with 8 teams, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. I need you to name at least 3 of the teams. You get to choose your conference, and then you to name the at least 3 teams from the other conference.
That's a good question. I'll
Okay.
do the West.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up my notes. All right.
The Houston Comets.
Which conference are you doing? West?
Yeah.
Okay.
The LA Sparks.
Okay.
Seattle Storm.
No, Nope.
Did I get two of
You
them
got
right?
one. You got one.
The Sparks were not?
Yeah, the Sparks was the one you got.
Yeah,
the Comets?
From the Western
Comets
Conference.
were
Okay,
east
I'm gonna
numbers.
let him.
okay.
I'm gonna let him
Yeah.
do his, and then I'll tell you what they were.
Can I use the Comets or?
Yeah, you can use the Comet. What are you doing?
I'm gonna do East.
You're doing East. Okay, yeah, go.
The Comets.
Okay.
The Liberty.
Okay.
And the God, there's one more. Connecticut Sun. That was the one I wasn't sure of. So.
All right. So for
But I got two of them, which is better than you.
that is better.
So
Yeah. So you. suck.
you.
Okay, so the 8 teams in the Eastern Conference was the Cleveland Rockers,
Rockers.
I don't
the
remember.
Charlotte Sting,
I should have
remember
known
the
that
Charlotte
one.
Sting.
I
The
the
should have known
Houston
that.
Comets, obviously, and the New York Liberty.
Yeah.
In the Western Conference, you had the LA Sparks. Then you had the Phoenix Mercury,
Yeah.
the Sacramento Monarchs,
Oh, I didn't.
and the Utah Stars.
See this? Yeah, and we should have known that because
They
that's the
came
team
here.
that came here, and then they went to Vegas.
Dang. Okay.
That was a good one.
That
She
was a
lit us
good one.
both up.
Good
That's your
stuff.
Christmas tree.
Yeah.
All right. So who's doing the next question?
No, that's it.
Well, no, actually, because you got one right and one wrong, and you got one right and one wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a tiebreaker.
Okay.
Okay.
God. But I think you.
I'm
technically
all
won.
over
did
Caitlin
take-
Clark's chalk, and that's no secret. Okay.
Where
And
did
not
she
in a
go
bad
to
way.
high school?
Not in a bad way. No, not where did she go to high school. She did go to high school in Iowa, by the way, because she was born and raised there. But no,
Okay.
Clark. What game of her collegiate career did she get her first double-double? And I'm going to give you its multiple choice. Was it her second game? Was it her fourth game? Was it her sixth game? Or was it her seventh game?
Wait, you said. Say it one more time.
Yes. When did she achieve her first double-double as a freshman?
Okay.
Was it her second game, her fourth game, her sixth game, or her seventh game?
I'm gonna go second.
I'm gonna go fourth.
Wow, wow. You got it. Chug it. What
I'm
kind
still
of
gonna drink.
sissy ass bullshit? You better drink that
Chug
fucking
it.
drink.
I'm good. Thank you for watching.
Exactly. I'll drink with you so you won't feel alone.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
this is really good. I can't stop drinking.
It's very
Oh
good.
my God, I might pour it on the glass. I don't care how people look at me. Well, that has been episode 7, WNBA Fever. I'd like to thank all of you for listening or watching, or both. And again, from right in here, thank you guys for being a part of this. We don't have one without you.
And I'd like to thank Jada Cadena for being on our show.
Definitely.
Thank you for being our
Great
first
content.
guest.
Brought
And
it
thank you for
big time.
producing our
Brought it
show.
strong.
We literally
Brought
could-
it strong.
Literally could not do this show without you. So thank
Yeah.
you very much.
I'm not
And
gonna argue.
Thank,
I'm joking.
thank you guys for listening and watching. So take care. We'll see you next time. I'm Quentin.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Jada.
And thank you for listening.
No, we're not doing that.
I'm not doing that.